Hello, everyone. Linda Wilson here from Learn to Transcribe Academy. And today I have the pleasure of speaking to Scott Klein. And he's a recent graduate of our legal transcription training program. And I'd like to turn it over to Scott and let him just say whatever he'd like about himself and so forth. So just go right ahead, Scott.
Yeah, thank you, Linda. Hi, everybody. My name is Scott. Like when Linda just said, I recently graduated from Learn to Transcribe. I'm now working in an apprenticeship um, doing legal transcription. I got into this job when I had come across something on social media about what it means to be a legal transcriptionist, and I hadn't heard of it before, but it really suited what I was looking for in a job at the moment, and it's turned out to be a pretty good gig so far.
Good. Well, did you tell me that you had recently gotten your college degree before this?
Yeah, so I'm actually right now I'm finishing up my final semester. I have like one more class and then I graduate next month. So it has been really good to do that alongside this. Like they work really well together because you can set your own hours as a legal transcriptionist.
That's true. And what's your degree in?
My degree is in clinical psychology.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, I was asking you the little white things in your ears. Talk to us about those, what they are, and why you
Yeah.
use them, and so forth.
Yeah, these are my headphones. They're wireless. They're Apple AirPods. They're very, very useful for work because you have to listen very carefully to recordings for legal transcription. And these happen to have noise cancellation. You don't have to get anything as fancy as that. I just use them because I already had them and they turned out to work very well for this job.
Great. Okay. Well, after a while, do they hurt your ears?
Not really. When I'm not working, when I have a break, I try to take them out just so that I can kind of refresh a little bit, just mentally, but they're not very uncomfortable.
Well, you did so well in the course. I've said this to
Thank
other
you.
people too, like, you sure you've never done this before? But you started at ground zero and knew nothing.
Yeah,
And then just a short time later, here you are out making professional transcripts. So I'm
that's very
so,
nice of you to say that. I was brand new to this.
well, I'm so proud of you. And I've told you that before um,
Thank you.
on another Zoom. I'm just really, really amazed at how well you did. And well, what did you think about the course itself, just generally?
Yeah, well, I really appreciate you saying that. I felt that the course was very thorough. I felt that it took some time for me to get used to kind of the technicalities of how you do things with transcribing, but I feel like there was a lot of information to cover all the different things I might encounter. So even though it was a lot of new information at once, I never felt unprepared after I took the course for what I was about to do. So it definitely made me feel more prepared going into an uncertain job market, which I had no experience in.
Well, that leads me into actually what I was going to ask you next.
Okay.
When you completed everything, did you really feel ready to go and prepared?
I think I knew that there was a lot of information I was still digesting. I felt prepared. I didn't know what pieces of information and like what parts of the course I would encounter more frequently. I just kind of figured, he's given me all of the information I need to know to start out, and some of it will be more applicable right up front, and some of it will probably become more applicable down the line. So that's kind of how I feel about it now, but it was really good quality info.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
true. You'll build on what you learned through my training over time. You'll start building on that and adding more and more advanced type things to it. It's a
Yeah,
learning process that never ends.
it is. And I'm still brand new. So who knows
Yeah.
what I'm going to
Well,
encounter in a month or in a year.
oh yeah. Well, it's if you like to learn new things, this is it. You will learn a
Yeah.
lot of stuff in this type of work. You really will. And a lot of
Yeah.
stuff about people and human nature. Um,
I think that's what makes it so satisfying is
mhm,
because you feel so accomplished at every turn because you're constantly picking up new information. It's a lot. You need the stamina to be able to do it, but it is really satisfying once you've learned more and more and gotten better and better.
that's right. Well, uh, you went into an apprenticeship, and the
Mhm.
first one that I referred you over to, you decided against that one because you were going to need to go and buy a Windows computer because you're a Mac
Y-
user. And
I
then you
was
went over,
before.
yeah, and then you went over. I said, well, that's okay. We'll here, let me send you somewhere else. And so I sent you somewhere else, and that's where you're still there. Did you wind up
Yeah.
having to buy a Windows computer or not?
Yeah, so I can explain that a little bit more. I wanted to avoid making a big technical purchase right up front before I had started making any money. And so that's why I was reluctant to take the first opportunity when it was communicated up front that my current setup would not suffice. So I went to the second place that you had recommended, and it seemed that I would be able to start out with what I had, but then it became clear that not all of their functions would work on my computer. I wasn't like I wasn't trying to make a big deal out of it. It's just I thought maybe I could start with what I had and then make some money, and then upgrade my setup. But it just turned out better to buy a laptop. And I got a cheap one at Walmart, and I'm gonna make the money back on it
Oh yeah,
immediately. So
probably less than a
it
week.
wasn't as big of an investment as I thought it was gonna be.
Just in a few days, you'll make your money back. Well,
Yeah.
you know, it it's always really best in this type of work, I think, to use a Windows-based
Oh
computer
yeah, yeah, for sure.
because there's so many programs that just don't play nicely with the Macs for some reason. And
Yeah,
you
it's just
can do
easier.
it, and you can take the training using a Mac if you partition it to emulate Windows. You could do that, but when you get out working, it's really actually better if you have the Windows computer. So I'm glad you bought
Yeah,
one. That's good.
yeah, of course.
And so, anything else you want to tell everybody before we go?
Yeah, I will say that this job, you need certain kind of skills or attributes to really fit in with it. You need to be focused. You need to be willing to learn new things and integrate the feedback that you get into what you do next. It does also require some patience because this is very new to a lot of people. But as long as you have those qualities and you're tenacious enough to work on your files and to learn new things. It can be a really good setup for people in a lot of different circumstances. I know for me, for example, I'm working sort of a part-time schedule with this right now while balancing other things, and then eventually I'm going to try to make it full-time. And it really depends on how many clients you want, how many jobs you want, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I think time management is key, patience is key, and ability to learn new things is key.
And you told me you live in Virginia, I think.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a beautiful state. I'll know that.
It
Gorgeous.
is for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm lucky to live here, but I
Yeah.
might be moving around a little bit in the future. So this
Well,
job will be really, really useful as I move to another state, um, or even abroad
it's
in the
like
future.
you're reading my mind. That's what I was going to ask you or mention.
Yeah,
The good thing about this type of work is you can move around different places and just take your work with you, because
exactly.
it's all remote as long as you have a good computer access. I mean,
Yeah,
internet, internet. I didn't mean
yeah,
to say computer, internet access. And you have
exactly.
the, and you don't have to have a whole lot of equipment.
That's
You know,
right. Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I started doing your course when I was living in the Netherlands. but I knew that as an American citizen and eventually coming back to America, it would work fine. But as
Sure.
long as you have American citizenship and American clients, you can do that. I don't know anything about Canadian clients, but just from my experience, I started in one place and then continued as I moved. So that will continue to be the case in the next coming years, I think.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
exactly what we say. Well, thank
Hmm.
you so much for your time. I know you've got a lot of work stacked up and you're going strong with it. And I know that the company you're working with is so lucky to get you. And I know they've got to feel that way because you are really, really, really a superstar. You
Thanks,
truly
Linda. I
are.
really appreciate that. You prepared me well.
Well, I don't, I've told people before, I don't give compliments unless I really mean them.
Well, that
That's
means a
just
lot.
me. If I tell you something, I really mean it. And I'm telling you, Scott Klein, you are a superstar. You really are.
Thanks,
And
Linda.
I'm just so
I'm gonna
excited.
blush on the Zoom call.
Well, I'm excited to know you and everything. So you keep in touch with me and let me know how everything's going. If there's any thing I can help you with, I will.
Yeah, yeah, I really appreciate it. Thanks, Linda.
Okay. Thank you, Scott. And you have a great rest of your day. Okay.
Bye, you too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.